intimate portrait of one of the most important and respected filmmakers of our time. Terry Gilliam is a Monty Python alumni, animator, performer, writer, director, and one of the reasons I wanted to become a filmmaker myself. Despite appearances, he's in the middle of directing his 10th motion picture.
That's better.
It always happens right in the middle of the scene.
Yeah.
The project is Tideland, and it is sure to be another outrageous cinematic adventure.
Bill, let's do a couple of little flowers up there, just in case. I don't know why.
God be praised.
I grew up with Terry Gilliam's work. From the time the CBC first broadcast his animated segments for Monty Python's Flying Circus when I was 7, to the release of Time Bandits when I was 12, to Brazil when I was 16, his films marked important stages in my life, transported me to incredible universes, and profoundly affected the way I see the world. In the fall of 2004, I had the great privilege to watch Gilliam at work on the set of his latest film, Tideland. This was my chance to document his process and to study how he brings his extraordinary vision to life. I was also determined to prove that his reputation as an out-of-control madman was unfairly exaggerated. As Gilliam begins pre-production in Saskatchewan, he is struggling to finish the Miramax production of The Brothers Grimm. Bob and Harvey Weinstein, who run the studio, and who Gilliam occasionally refers to as the real Brothers Grimm, are attempting to recut his movie. He moves ahead with Tideland in part to pressure them into resolving their creative differences, as well as to beat the approaching winter weather.
The thing that's been interesting about this has been such a fast process from getting the money and continuing to work on Brothers Grimm and throwing this thing together. It's all happened much quicker than normal. The pre-production has only been 5 weeks, which is an absurdly short amount of time for this. But it's good because you just keep charging forwards. And I have to make decisions quickly rather than doing what I would normally do, is dither as long as possible.
Basically, I've always just believed in the creative people that are working on a film or whatever the project is. I don't trust the people who are worried about the money or who the audience is or how we're going to sell it. They don't interest me.
This is a small costume department.
I'm there to encourage everybody to get on with it, and I become the filter so that, it has to go through me ultimately. I'm not there to restrict things. I'm there to hope to allow things to grow and expand and get better and become more interesting. And that's really what I like doing.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this at work every day.
While Gilliam allows his creative team enormous freedom, I notice that he is meticulous and uncompromising in his methods, if somewhat unorthodox.
I've gotten used to just giving answers. When people ask me a question, they want an answer, so I give an answer. It's just to give a sense that somebody's in charge. I think it's as simple as that. You're in charge. Okay, he knows what he wants. Everybody feels, oh yes, we got a leader here. Who's the captain of the ship.
How much do you feel like you have to play that role? Or you're just not?
Well, I do it now because I've gotten used to that because I've seen it. I remember years ago when doing the first film of my own, and the producers came on in one day and they said, "How's it going?" I said, "I don't know. Fuck, it's a disaster. I don't know what to do. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm completely lost, Bob." And I watched their faces begin to panic, and I said, "Oh." And then a couple days later, they came in and asked, "How's it going?" I said, "Absolutely fabulous. It's incredible. It's a fantastic film. You are so lucky to be part of this thing." And that's all I wanted to hear. So after a while, you start doing it until I get really tired and pissed off. If it's a producer I don't like, then I keep saying we're in a real disaster here, just to make their life a living hell.
My idea of what is controversial and others is not a good. I'm not a good barometer, because I've been making films that I don't think are controversial, and they get an NC-17 in America.
Based on Mitch Cullin's disturbing novel, Tideland tells the story of 10-year-old Jeliza-Rose, who after her mother dies is taken to a remote prairie farmhouse by her drug-addicted father. The film delves into the complex fantasy world she creates in order to deal with the tragedies in her life. Gilliam describes it as Alice in Wonderland meets Psycho. The script is unflinching in its depiction of Jeliza's journey, which includes a flirtatious relationship with a mentally deficient 20-year-old man. And while this is another step towards the kind of character-driven filmmaking that he began with Fisher King and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, it is his riskiest artistic effort to date.
The sexuality it bothers me, actually. That actually was the thing that worried me most, because when you write it in a book, there are people who are bothered by it just in a fictional context. Doesn't matter if these people didn't exist or not. Just the idea of it is very bothersome. That I can deal with. When it came down to the reality of it, I was thinking, shit, how are they gonna do this?
I think you're nice.
Jeliza-Rose has a very tough life. She uses her imagination a lot to try to fix it. And she has doll heads that she puts on her fingers and pretends that they're her friends, and she makes them talk and everything.
For all their excess, Gilliam's films are deeply personal.
It's always been her point of view. For me, the girls, I always tend to be the main character in a film. I identify with that character, so I see the world through his or her eyes, and it's got to be through her eyes.
Get on with it, you little bitch.
We don't really deal with her like a child. She's just a pro actress. She's quite extraordinary. She's doing stuff in this scene that I certainly didn't ask her to do.
Dear, you're already dead. A ghost. A spook. Promise me something, Jeliza-Rose. If I ever end up looking like Glitter Girl, promise you'll just kill me. I could never. Oh, yes, you could.
Oh, yes, you could.
Oh, yes, you could. Yes, you could.
Thank you.
Terry doesn't close many doors. He sees how many he can open. And it's not just him. He wants to know how many doors he can open, and she can open, and everyone can open. And then it seems like he just kind of picks the right one to walk through.
What happened to your head?
They cut inside, they did. And they cut my brain, so I'm not able
When we were sitting down rehearsing, particularly with Dickens, because he's got so much dialogue, and just the slightest shift in it, you think, okay, the scene's now taking a different shape.
Thing is you gotta hold my hand, okay?
When he was reading the other day of the moment when he says, take my hand, hold tight. And it was the face he was pulling when he was doing it, and it looked dangerous.
I'm drowning! I am! Save me!
Have your hands up in the air like you're drowning. Oh, and go sink, and then blub, 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 you're gone.
I'm drowning! I am! Save me! Save me!
I need to go get Lisa!
Lisa!
And suddenly you realize, little girl, dangerous situation, possible lunatic, you don't know which way it's going to go. Okay, let's play a bit more with that. Don't frighten him. That's why getting down low is, because if you're tall, you're like Dell, towering over him. So you've got to be down there so you don't threaten him. He's a strange animal. I used to have it all storyboarded, and I'd then insist the actors try to fit into my storyboards, which, yeah, it works, but it's also limiting, and over the years it's been more interesting to let the actors dictate and concentrate on that. Maybe, and I'm not sure if the films are looking as graphic as they used to, because the actors are taking over more, not this precise kind of image that I was obsessed with before.
And do you miss that, or is that a happy trade-off?
No, it's a happy trade-off, because I think particularly now that so many films are so carefully designed and planned, and since everybody's going down that road, I'll take another path. The Team Tideland marches in. This has got two worlds. There's the exterior world, which is very widescreen and open, and a figure against the skyline or a landscape, and it's agoraphobic if it's anything. And then inside, it's dark and it's rotting and it's more claustrophobic. We're doing Out of Africa, aren't we?
Out of Africa.
Yeah. Look at that, the wildebeest out there, herds of wildebeest moving across the horizon. I don't understand people who make films who, just hire a set designer and they go design a set, and then they put some people in front of the set. It's nonsense. It's the place people live in affects them as much as they affect the place. And I've always liked that. And I just try to get a sense of reality, a believability, or a tactileness, or a smell, something that you really feel you're in these places, and these places are part of these characters' lives.
He doesn't like smooth edges. He doesn't like things that are clean. I think he likes texture. He likes quirkiness. He likes that kind of layering.
One of Gilliam's great talents is to create a credible fantasy world. He overwhelms the viewer with detail and atmosphere, and while the settings may be otherworldly, they are rendered with such gritty nuance as to be utterly palpable and real. For me, watching his films can feel like falling down Alice's rabbit hole.
I mean, what we do in films, I mean, and certainly in my stuff, we're not realistic. We're not even naturalistic. It's an artifice. I actually like sort of announcing that at the start. Artifice. It may be truthful, it may be insightful, maybe all sorts of things, but it's not trying to be a false reality. I mean, too many films sort of play on being naturalistic, and they think, oh, that's real. It's not. It's just the same thing. It's another form of artifice. And so I kind of like stating from the outset, no, I'm a puppet show here. I actually barely distinguish between fantasy and reality. That's one of my problems.
Almost all of Gilliam's films involve a character whose fantasies are thwarted by reality. It's not surprising that his life has been characterized by similar struggles. Whether it was his famous David and Goliath battle with Universal Pictures, who tried to recut Brazil, or the financial debacle that dogged the adventures of Baron Munchausen, or his current conflict over the Brothers Grimm, Gilliam's life as a filmmaker has not been an easy one. 8 years have passed since Fear and Loathing was released. In that time, he has attempted to mount a succession of projects, none of which managed to escape from development hell. The one that did, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, collapsed early in production after a succession of natural disasters and financing complications. The reasons for this are still open to debate. Some claim that Gilliam is financially reckless and thrives on conflict. Others believe that his problems are the product of his unwillingness to relinquish creative control and the grandiose nature of his vision. In either case, there are few directors who can claim to have such an original and uncompromising body of work. At the age of 63, after many box office successes, and with international recognition as one of the most gifted filmmakers alive, Gilliam still has difficulty getting his films insured.
Somebody told me that he was unbondable.
Yes, that's possibly true. We were able to bond him. I think we were because we put everything in place that made a very viable situation. So we were able to bond, and I think he's going to prove everybody wrong.
Tideland is a chance for Gilliam to work on a small scale without studio interference. But the specter of past disasters haunt the last days of prep. It is impossible not to wonder whether the so-called Terry curse will take hold of this production. As the shoot begins, I ask Gilliam what his biggest concern is.
If you don't get most of your work done in the morning, you're doomed. And then we end up rushing at the end of the day, doing 5 shots in 15 minutes because we pissed away the morning. So as the morning thing gets me, just to try to keep it moving.
When you walk here, you stick your heels in the fucking ground as you come forward. And keep... by using your heels, not your toes, it'll be better. Let's try it. Already that's better, yeah.
The first shot of the production is of the character Dell shooting a tree branch to scare off a couple of young poachers.
Scene 70, take 1.
Action!
The squib fails to break the branch, and reset time takes longer than expected.
If we can just get all the gear working, it'd be...
Mostly your camera, no monitor.
Yeah, I know. We got to get all that stuff under because we just wasted an hour. I wanted to be done with this scene by lunchtime. And there's no reason we shouldn't have, but it is first day, and we're discovering all the gear that isn't matching, isn't quite working, all the corners that were cut that are now costing more. But it's a start, and it's the only way to do it is to start.
Gilliam's films are carefully constructed, and I assume he'll be very specific in the way he blocks and shoots a scene.
What is going on here?
To my surprise, he welcomes accidents, and when appropriate, he allows the actors to improvise. The scene he's about to film is scripted as a polite picnic. Gilliam decides to turn it into a food fight.
B-Mark.
And action, gals. You gotta eat some more food. You've thrown all your food away, Jodelle. Where's your food? When we don't know what to do, we might do something silly. And so it's, you know, I mean, what do? You do a lovely little food thing, eating and all this, but, okay. And you can do it, it's all poetic, and it's what the script said. I think there's something more wonderful about, for a little girl to suddenly get a food fight with the woman she's kind of terrified of and yet really wants to know.
I totally saw her opening up. That was amazing.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it really does. I mean, just suddenly, there's Jeliza-Rose laughing, happy, joyous. And it wouldn't have happened just eating food.
And how consciously are you thinking about lens choice and that kind of thing? Are you thinking, is that just intuitive?
Wide and wider.
Gilliam pioneered the use of extreme-wide lenses. Endless depth of field and skewed perspective are his visual hallmark and the doorway into his twisted universe. On the Tideland set, the 12mm becomes known as the Gilliam.
Terry's wide-angle approach to filmmaking is a wide-angle approach to life, is to let life in. And therefore, within that stage that is not confined, but is extremely wide, as in real life, you choose what to point out and what to look at.
As the days wear on, the crew picks up speed and Gilliam gets his shots. The weather cooperates, bathing the valley in golden light. It would seem that Tideland is off to a good start.
Cut. Good one. I think we got it.
But appearances are deceiving. In a moment that strangely mirrors Gilliam's film Brazil, problems arise in the form of a very small bug.
No, the sting.
Oh, the sting.
You get some lemon standing by?
Take her back to the trailer, make sure that we get lemon over there.
I didn't see that. I just got a bite right on the big one. It just swells up like whoosh. So Jodelle got bit by something. A no-see-him, we've decided, is what it is, because nobody saw him. And she got bit on the lip and on the nose, and her lip is now swollen up. She looks like Daffy Duck. So we aren't able to shoot with her today. So we're pissing around in this vast landscape, shooting little close-ups of dolls' heads. The magic of the movies. I think it was self-inflicted. I think she decided to get off the film, and she inflicted herself.
Munchausen syndrome brought by proxy.
Yeah, they're the ones.
I think he has the whole movie in his head pretty well before we even start shooting. It changes as we get on the set and he sees what the actors do or what the set looks like or what the weather is or what the location is. But as for the concept, it's all there in his head.
I've lost it completely about why I do anything. It's just how do you get through the day and the time you got.
But I love watching you build these shots with the crane. I mean, you kind of sculpt them. You start with a general.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just like I kind of know where I want it to end, and I kind of know where I want it to start. And then it's just the bits in the middle. You know, you want to bring in, get the best shot on that bus. And you know you want to start with a clear field of grass. That's kind of it. It's more, and then it's just a matter of finding, you know, the best angle on that. And that's just a purely subjective thing. There we go.
Gilliam is rescued from my questioning by the roar of the wind machines. Meanwhile, Jodelle recovers from her bug bites, and the production gets back on track. By the end of the week, they're on schedule. After shooting, the crew gathers to watch rushes, footage from the first week of production. Gilliam's reaction is mixed.
I don't want to come to see him. I mean, tonight I didn't want to come. It always is like that. But she's wonderful. She's great. It's just a great face. And what she's doing is all the time is fascinating. She doesn't look like Jodelle. It looks like Jeliza-Rose. I mean, the only time she looks a little bit like Jodelle is when we're off to the party. And she puts on another sort of face. But it still is fine. It's a great face. She seems much older than a 9-year-old. There's something weird about her. Very strange child. Brilliant.
My teacher's going to make me write a book report on Tideland.
Excellent. What do you think you might say?
Excellent.
Yeah. What kind of book report? What do you think you'd say about it? An excellent bit of writing. The spelling was correct. Most of the punctuation was proper.
that sort of thing. Did you say it's a page turner? I couldn't put it down. It was a page turner. It was dull. It was, no, it was repetitive. It was derivative. Do you know what derivative means?
No.
Why not? Get out of my face. I don't,
You haven't told them yet.
what is a derivative? Is the kind of things that what's his name? Roland Emmerich is derivative.
Who's that?
He's the guy that made Day After Tomorrow and Godzilla, because all of his shots derive from Steven Spielberg shots. They're all identical almost. So he's derivative. He doesn't make original films. He makes films that are like somebody else's thing. So if you're derivative, you're acting. It's like you acting like Nick Nolte. If you learned your acting skills and copied Nick Nolte, you'd be derivative. But in fact, you're original. It's the opposite of original almost. Ready? And action!
They cut inside my brain, so I'm not athletic no more, only sometimes. Like this.
Let him go. And cut.
I don't think you saw that.
No, not in that one. That was quite
It's
different.
good.
No, it was
It's
just
good.
out.
That was a
It's good. So, lunchtime.
Gilliam's good mood is about to change. Nicola delivers bad news. The lab has destroyed half a day's footage.
How do we do this?
I don't know. That's all.
What is this lab? Oh, this is
The
beyond
only
belief.
thing that is not fucked up is the very, very first page.
Do they at least take a few other films down with them as well? Well, it was going too well. Well, that's certainly... Jesus, fuck. You know, on one hand, we're being incredibly lucky because the weather's, favored us. On the other hand, we're being incredibly unlucky because the labs have just buggered up a lot of shots on Monday. So now we have to go back and consider reshooting them. Nice. Sort of balance in nature.
Fears of impending winter weather are confirmed by the arrival of freezing 60-mile-per-hour winds. I ask Gilliam if he can turn this to his advantage.
This is here, it's just you're dealing with the elements all the time. Again, it's compromise, trying to get through it. I don't know. I mean, I keep thinking one should be able to incorporate these, but you can't, because we've got a scene that's already going, and so suddenly this stuff is probably going to look a bit odd when we cut it together. The wind is suddenly going to be up, hair's going to be blowing in ways that it wasn't in the wider shots. So that's what worries me, whether it's ever going to match. But we've got to keep shooting, is what we have to do. I mean, it's like you're a shark. You have to keep moving forward. You stop and you die. Sit down, and watching it, and slowly it tips over to your left. Your left, just cut. Sitting at top, it ruins it, yeah.
Gilliam films Jeliza-Rose falling asleep. The sky becomes overcast, and he must wait for the sun to return before he can shoot the next take.
There's a big one coming, isn't there?
The crew looks lost, like shipwreck survivors adrift in a sea of grass.
What's happened to it? It's actually gone.
I'm impressed by how Gilliam manages to remain so patient in the face of adversity. But patience isn't enough to make the higher powers cooperate.
Can you run back to the very first take?
The cloud cover never breaks, and he must stick with the first take.
I'm just scared shitless of this weather.
I mean, Terry's somebody who sees God in everything and God in everywhere, but wouldn't necessarily call himself religious in any way, shape, or form. But that, from what I glean, I'm not speaking for him, but that he very much has a sense of a certain kind of the largeness of things.
Religion often plays a role in Gilliam's films. As a young man, he considered becoming a minister, and he credits Bible stories as having a great influence on his filmmaking. He even gave God a speaking part in The Holy Grail and Time Bandits. And while Gilliam is critical of the hypocrisy of organized religion, his personal feelings on the matter are more complex.
you believe in a wrathful God?
The fucker. I don't know if he's wrathful. I just think he's ironic and just satirical and just designed to make your life more complex. I don't take it personally. Well, most of the time I don't. But this weather is fantastic, isn't it? This is what I think these people, that's why they're so calm out here, because they're basically trying to restrain their madness. I can't imagine working out in the field all day like in this wind and you don't come home and at least stab one of your children to death.
Quiet, please! Lift me up to sweet Jesus, nail me by his crooked cross. Oh, what a glorious
I was over in Nepal years ago, and the wind was howling, and we were up at, I don't know, some god-awful height. And I just went out in the evening, and these clouds were forming in. And I got myself under the protection of a little rock pile, and I decided, what a nice way to die. I consider things like that all the time. The nice way to die.
How do you feel about dying on a film set?
That would be a good joke, wouldn't it? It's very nice. It's quite pleasant out here. Sounds of people working in the distance, and stars, trees, and strange light fixtures all over the place. It's not a bad way to go. I always like being close to the activity, but not necessarily in the center of it all the time. When you start noticing what the breeze is really doing, how it's shifting and temperature changes are going up and down with the bursts of wind. It's very elemental.
Are there moments like this on a film set when you find you can really relax?
Oh yeah. I've gotten better at certain points. You switch off. I can be standing by the camera pretending to be doing something, but there's nothing for you to do. Nicola's got to finish what he does. It was a good day today. Some of us deserve a rest. I'm taking a rest for everybody else. Lead from the front.
You know, I've seen some things in my time. I've seen directors in caravans taking massages. I've never seen one sleeping in the grass on the set before.
Gilliam manages to wrap the Katepwa locations mere hours before the year's first snowstorm. The crew packs up and moves to Regina to shoot interiors. While Gilliam says the studio work lacks the thrill of shooting in the great outdoors, for the producers it is a huge relief. They have survived the most unpredictable part of the production. They can't completely relax, however. There's still 4 days of exteriors left, 2 of which are at the site of a massive train wreck, and the most complex of the entire production.
Shadow effect up on the wall.
Oh, wow, look at that is neat.
And that's what's really nice. And, and guess what it looks like?
It does.
Yes. There's magic at work here.
It's exactly like the house. Look at that.
If we can get a light source, it gives us a shadow of that on the wall.
Like, guess
the
what,
house? It's Noah's. It's all a dream of a nasty little girl who wants to kill her parents.
What percentage of the work that you do, Terry, is the result of accidents?
A lot of it. I mean, a lot of it has to do with having the film in your head, or what the film is about, and the images and all that, and then discovering variations on those, or connections that, you know, it's about spotting them. It's not. And I was just, I looked there, and I just happened to be there, and I just happened to see the shadow, and I happened to look like Noah's house. That's how. but Yasmin had put the house there. Somebody had put the light over there that caused that shadow to do that. And if it hadn't been standing there, and that light hadn't been there, and that house hadn't been there, we wouldn't have seen it. So whether it's accident, good luck, or other forces at work, who knows?
If you were comparing directors, Terry kind of reminds me a little bit of Hal Ashby, who was one of my favorite directors that I've worked with. And Hal, like Terry, was so kind of confident in his artistry and the people that he had assembled, that he would leave so much room for just creativity on the spot, you know, and not have to have everything figured out weeks before. You know, there's a lot of room for ideas to come just up out of the empty space that he creates. Set her on fire. Adrift degree. Misty fjords at dawn. The fire thing was not quite.
It was actually interesting.
It was okay? Okay.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. I thought it was
Okay,
good because it was
okay.
getting dangerous. I actually thought you were about to go.
Okay.
The timing wasn't as, but it was kind of
Something about
interesting.
it felt false. Yeah, okay.
No, it didn't feel that way from here.
Okay.
I think it was the way you got her head flat. You lifted her up as you were pulling the mummy thing. It's great. Yeah.
Let's talk about this. I read on your website that when you were a child, you lived in Minnesota. You were out in the country. You didn't have TV. You only listened to radio, which is a great, maybe the other medium in which you can completely play God because you do it with sound. Your dad was a carpenter. He used to build you tree houses.
My mother was a virgin, too.
Yes, your
Remember
dad
that,
was
too.
a...
That led to the God quality.
He was very popular, and all the teachers seemed to like him, and all the kids did. He was always voted for this and that and the other thing. He was even king of the prom, even.
The strangest thing about Terry Gilliam's childhood was how normal it was. It's hard to imagine that this straight-A student would grow up to make such transgressive movies. Perhaps his all-American upbringing was precisely the thing that led to the disillusionment that he and much of his generation experienced in the 60s. But my guess is Gilliam was always weird. And while he says he relates to Jeliza-Rose, the Alice character of Tideland, I see him as the Cheshire Cat, an enigmatic trickster. His personality, like his art, seems to be collaged from different elements. He is at once logical and intuitive, accessible and secretive, comic and tragic. Basically hard to get a handle on. Unraveling his directorial process is even more difficult. It's a little bit like trying to learn about a writer by watching him sit in front of a typewriter. The real work takes place inside the confines of his head. If I could look inside, what would I find? Would this be the jumbled mindscape of a madman, or the ordered, logical brain of a mathematician? Gilliam's head seems to contain both. As production nears the halfway point, I feel I am no closer to getting inside his thought process than when I started. In desperation, I do the only thing I can think of. I stick a camera on his head.
Strap on humiliation.
What is this?
It's for the documentary. The director's eye view of see what the director sees.
She loves it. She just chews the thing and she's being unit, did it? We changed lenses.
Yeah. Like a geisha.
Yeah.
Stuff that after she's stuffed.
Before we do the stabbing, then we do the stabbing, then we turn around.
Main unit will knock stuff out there when there's makeup changes, which there will. Unit 36.
Yeah, right over here, yeah. She's gonna go shriek, and then she's gonna point her flashlight at it, and we're gonna be on a tighter shot of it, and then through the door comes Dad. Dunka, 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 dunka. He runs around there, and there's no Bogman. He goes over there. Daddy? What's happened, Daddy?
What seems a little strange. I say, what's it? And I guess I'm going over there because she's got a flashlight over there. She's looking at something over there. Is that why don't I just come?
Yeah, there's a camera in here. That's why there's no room.
Yeah. But I guess she's looking at. She's from over there or something.
Yeah.
What's that, sweetie? What's this? You got the creepers?
You go down there. So you would have been sitting up by now.
The novelty of the Terry Cam wears thin very quickly, and Gilliam removes it before filming the Bogman. Creating fantasy is hard work, and Gilliam makes it tougher by choosing time-intensive practical effects over digital ones.
Ah, yes.
While he embraces new technology, often he prefers imagery with an analog warmth that is in keeping with the moniker of his old production company, Handmade Films. The most complex effects sequence in Tideland involves Jeliza-Rose swimming through a submerged farmhouse.
We shot a plate in the studio. It's Jeliza-Rose swimming down into the sunken house, swimming across, kissing her dad, and swimming out.
The crew puppeteer floating furniture from the roof of the set. The background plate is photographed with lots of smoke at high speed to complete the dry-for-wet illusion.
She flies straight. She has to be holding on to the back. I mean, this shot now we're setting up. We're actually doing it all in one. So we've got all the elements in here. We've got our fake banister, which will match the banister in the house. We've got Noah here on this gimbal, so he'll be floating as well in the shot, which will cut one element out. Originally, we were going to shoot Noah as a separate element.
And do you take satisfaction out of this kind of shooting, or does it just feel like it's laborious and dull?
No, I kind of like it, but I've been doing it for 20-some years now, so I'm beginning to think there must be another way to do this stuff. There isn't. 100 Thompson said years ago that America was going to become a nation of panicky sheep. He got it right. People that are getting shafted are the ones that are voting for our man George. Actually, they're the same people who made Mel Gibson $300 million richer. And it reminds me more and more of Brazil, where you need terrorists to survive if you're running a show like those guys are running. It's actually been a very bad day working, because it's just kind of crushed any kind of hope that some of us had.
Yeah, we've got ourselves boned once again. We've got everything here. This is what I want, the stuff on the gear, all here, so we can go. Everything was going to be here on this thing, so we didn't have to bring things up. It's not here.
The snow has melted, and Gilliam finds himself in Katepwa again, cleaning up the remaining exterior scenes. I thought he'd enjoy being out of the studio, but the day goes slowly, and a series of logistical mistakes frustrate him further.
Most days I spent lying in bed at night thinking how I fucked up and how we didn't get the shot we needed. And now, oh shit, if only we'd done it that way. But the day is just more of a frenzy of desperation, trying to just get anything on film. My moods, unfortunately, affect other people, and the other people are the ones that are probably getting the work done. And so I get rather pissed off at myself for behaving as irritable and frustrated as I am. How are we going to do our musical number, cleaning up the house, as the light pours in?
In dawn.
Yeah, we're going to find a way we can shoot fucking fast, because we got so much to try to get shots. It's got to be done like a musical video.
Like the Mary Poppins sequence when they clean the nursery?
Why not? I was trying to think of things to do for this so-called little musical clean up the house number, and I think it was Janet that actually said, well, she would get rid of that filth. Well, the best thing is this whitewash, and then she did it, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be like, just go crazy and paint the whole room white, paint everything white, paint the furniture, the television, everything white. Everything's painted white. They went crazy. Whether we do the floor white, I don't know yet. I mean, I can't tell yet, but this all gets painted. It's too nice. It's lost character. That's our problem. It needs something cruder. When I saw what they had done, it looked too much like, Imagine, John Lennon's place with the white piano thing. I said, no, we got to keep layers on it. So Yasna actually had to go back and rough it up again and bring out or fake the original surfaces so that she can whitewash over them. So it looked a mess, basically, but it was white. Everything was clean. And especially with Wash Me in the Blood of Jesus seemed terrific. Jesus' blood washes whiter than white. It's better than Tide or any other household product. Blood of Jesus, every time, folks, ladies and gentlemen. All this rise of evangelicalism is in the film now as a result of what's going on in reality. I think more and more of it is just because I'm so outraged with what's happening in America that anytime I can stick the knife in, we do.
Tideland ends with an apocalyptic vision, a massive train wreck into which Jeliza-Rose goes searching for her true love, Dickens. Gilliam sets up the final image of the movie, a close-up of Jeliza-Rose watching fireflies dancing in the night air. This is one of the few shots to be photographed with a long lens, and focus is critical.
Focus on the wrong eye. It's on the back eye. Cut! I can see you're getting a bit tired, you both are. Painful.
What?
Exactly. That's what you need. Because your eyes this time weren't doing what they did before. They weren't dancing.
Things a person can do with his nose.
This is just getting weird.
Okay. One last wonderful one.
Is this the final shot of the film, Terry?
Yep. End of many careers. Shot. The beginning of others. No, it's a beautiful shot. Beautiful. We're doing the makeup and costume test. We did a close-up of Jodelle's face, and I said, well, that's it. That's the end frame of the film. You see the fireflies will be dancing in her eyes there. They're rather nice.
Are you intending a certain level of ambiguity for the finish of the film?
Leave it to the audience to decide whether it's a happy ending or not.
I wonder if this will be a happy ending for Gilliam, or at the very least, a new stage in his career, free of the troubles that have plagued him in the past. One thing is certain, Gilliam is happy. He is thriving in this low-budget, creatively unrestricted atmosphere. Tideland is completed on time and on budget, and there are no visible personal conflicts. It is the way every film should be made. Gilliam actually seems younger than when I first met him. Could it be that while he's making a film about a little girl losing her innocence, this veteran filmmaker is rediscovering his?
Speech.
Speech!
What greater present than having people like us create such a wonderful project. I am so proud. Genuinely, I am. And it's been great. You've been fantastic. You've worked your asses off. I hope you've been paid. And I think we got a wonderful film.
This is the last shot of the film?
That's right. Finally done. V111 MT. Take one, special effects shot. Shadow, papers, flying above the fan.
This is so much fun!
The crew films the last shot of the production, but there is one important detail missing.
The glamour of film business.
While Gilliam is in his office taking an important call, the paper continues to flutter in the air. I can't help but think that this is a quintessential Gilliam moment, virtually identical to the destruction of the Ministry of Information in Brazil, a scene that is not one of violence, so much as it is of rebellion, freedom, and catharsis.
Would you like
Are we
to
finished?
put any money in it?
Have we finished this film yet? Are we doing, is that the last shot done?
Done.
What?
Wrapped.
And I wasn't there.
The gate was good.
Oh, was it good?
Yep. The gate was good.
Look at this. We got this. Thanks, survivors. Thanks, all. And
In the end, Gilliam remains an enigma, but it's this ambiguity that is precisely what makes his films so fascinating. With each viewing, I find something I didn't see before, and strangely, now that I've witnessed him at work, the mystery has only become deeper.
Because I'm just dealing with, this huge overall nonsense. Sets, locations, colors, costumes, all that. And you get kind of lost. Not lost, but there's just so much detail. You lose track of what you actually achieved half the time. Because it's just about dealing with the next question. That's what most of it is. I'm trying to remember what I set out to do. But even as you're doing it, it's changing the whole time. It's just constantly changing. And that's what's interesting about it. I mean, you really do set sail. You kind of know where we're heading. And you're thrown this way and that. And good ideas set you off in one direction or another. Sometimes those directions are really good detours. Other times you're getting lost. And then you kind of find your way somehow. And that's what I've liked more and more about these last few films. At a certain point, you actually lose sort of faith in the whole idea of what you're doing. But that's what it is. And by the time it's finished, I'll have convinced myself this is what I always thought it was going to be.
Gilliam.
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 Senor Gilliam.
Gilliam.
Signore.
Gilliam.
Helium. Helium.
Gilliam.
G-I-M.
Gilliam.
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 A-M.
Gilliam.